Let me start by saying, this is an IoTX event, and of course we're talking about sensing, and we're talking about what can you do with sensing around the city, what can you do with Internet of Things devices. So if I was to ask you, what are the sensing needs from your point of view as Smart Dubai and as RTA, what are the sensing needs in the city? What are the current plans? Where are we going in terms of sensing in Dubai?
Okay. First of all, it's my pleasure to be here, and I hope that I will not keep you from lunch too long. The question is very important. First of all, as a smart city, I'll answer as a smart city. As a smart city, Dubai needs to be a city that is alive, the city that knows what's happening around it. So in order to achieve that, we need to deploy lots of IoT sensors to help us to do that. So for example, we need to know what's the weather like in Dubai, not just the temperature, but also the humidity, the wind speed, if there is dust or no, if there is rain, and all of that. So the city should inform us through these sensors about the real environment of the city as we speak, maybe even sensing the pollution levels, maybe. So there are today sensors that does that. We need to also be aware of the traffic situation. So we need sensors so that it will help us decide which is the best route to take, and so that the people go to their destination in a very safe and a smooth way. At the end, to wrap it up about the need for the sensors is that we need to do that. We need to bring Dubai alive to a city that is aware of itself, that provides information through the sensors to make the life of people much better, to achieve the goal that His Highness Sheikh Mohammed has put for everyone, is people happiness. He wants Dubai to be the happiest city, the people in Dubai, or the people who are visiting Dubai, to be the happiest people in the world. So I think the IoT will play a major role in doing that. The sensing infrastructure will play a major role in doing that. So if you are living in Dubai or visiting Dubai and you are informed proactively, and I want to say proactively 3 times, about the weather today, about which route to take, about, for example, when the next bus will arrive, all of that. So that will make your life as a person who's living in Dubai or visiting Dubai a much happier life. Okay, so that's one thing. Now, I hope I answered this part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think we want to have information, knowledge about the city, transport information, environmental information, mobility, traffic, etc., etc. So the idea is to gather a lot of knowledge and data from the city. Now, when we gather this data, there comes the discussion around data and around data openness. Which data do we open? What are the policies around data? What about security, etc.? And this is where you are now wearing your Open Data Committee chairman hat. Can you just give us an update on what is the status of the policies and the law and so on, and what are we talking about in terms of the possibilities for opening some of that data up?
Of course, the Open Data Committee and the team that we are working together with the team, we have some members here as well from the team. It's a very essential part of any smart city journey to have an open data policy or an open data to provide its data. If we go to the previous question that you've asked, I said it's very important that these sort of data be available to the public, okay? Be even available to people to come up with new ideas, new services. As you know, that also His Highness, the President of UAE, has announced year 2015 as year of innovation. So the motto of the year 2015 is innovation for the whole country. So open data enables all of that. Now, of course, the Crown Prince has formed this committee called Dubai Open Data Committee in last November of 2014. And the committee has had a mandate to deliver 3 deliverables by May of 2015. And I'm very happy to say, thanks to the team and the efforts and the people who have participated with us and worked with us from various different organizations, we have managed to deliver these 3 deliverables, which is the draft, first of all, the strategy for open data and sharing data. Second was the draft law for open data and sharing data. And the third one was the roadmap of how we're going to implement that as we go ahead. These 3 deliverables have been already delivered on the 14th of May of last month. Okay, last month, 14th of May. So we are happy to say that the committee has delivered that. We are working now with the government to see when the law will be finalized and signed to go out. Okay. Plus, in addition to that, no, we've not just delivered these 3 things, but we've also delivered data classification. We've delivered the primary registry for the city. So lots of deliverables also was delivered as part of the package that we have delivered to the government last month.
Wally, just sorry to interrupt, but just out of to explain to the audience, as I know that for a fact that it is called the Open Data Committee, and I know that we've jointly worked on comparing the open data requirements of Dubai, or the data requirements of Dubai versus other cities globally, and the complexity that we are looking at. Can you explain, when we say open data, we don't really mean open data only, but explain the complexity behind the effort that was done in the last 6 months?
Actually, I have another presentation in about an hour tackling the whole thing.
Yeah.
But the complexity, when we started working on this, many cities around the world, or many governments around the world, they started with open data as a government thing. So it was just purely government opening its data. What the approach that we have taken is a little bit different. First of all, we are opening data, and we are not including it only on government, but we are asking private sector also to open its data, so that the law that will come out will tackle not only government entities, but also private entities, encouraging them to, or mandating them to open certain data. Okay, that is beneficial to the city and to the advancement of the city and to the happiness of the people. So that is the first differentiation. So here, it's not only government opening its data, it's government and private opening their data. The second differentiation is that many cities around the world, when they looked at the open data, they just looked at what data they can open. But they have not looked at what data they can share for the benefit of the public. Okay? So when we went and we studied this, and we saw that there is a huge need for Dubai to achieve the mandate or the vision that His Highness Sheikh Mohammed has put. He wants Dubai to be the smartest, not just a smart city among other smart cities, but the smartest city in the globe by 2017. So to achieve that, we needed to have more of a collaboration between different parties, government, private, individuals, and so on. So what we have done, we have actually changed it a little bit. It's not any longer just open data. Open data is just a part of it, but we have also introduced something called shared data. These are the data that will be used not to be totally open, but can be shared between the different entities that they need this data for the good and for the interest of the city and its people and its visitors. So this is the other differentiator. So we are here with the law. We are not just talking about open data. We are tackling open data, and we're tackling also putting frameworks, putting laws in place to help organizations collaborate, work together, and come up with new services or applications to improve the services that they provide in the city, to improve the living standard of the people of Dubai and the visitors of Dubai. So people happiness is at the center of what we are doing.
Thank you, Amali. Just while we start getting people ready to ask questions, please raise your hands if you have any questions to ask. I'm going to continue now to ask you about now your other hat, which is the RTA, head of RTA, shared services, technical services. Can you give us some examples and ideas about sensing IoT type projects that you have? What can we expect in terms of services that you're going to launch in the RTA? And what are the functionalities that you would be looking at when looking at an IoT platform and a sensing capability?
Okay, first of all, as an RTA, we have around 93 initiatives that they are contributing to transforming Dubai into the smartest city. We've completed about 59 of them. So we have a little bit more to go, but the ones to go is a big ones as well. So today, if we go back to the sensing and what RTA is doing, few examples of what we are doing. I know that many of you are very interested in autonomous cars. So that is one of the projects that we're working on. But we have today something, we are using connected cars. Today we are providing, we have sensors in our taxis. There are about more than 8,000 taxis in Dubai. These taxis are considered to be connected taxis. We are taking the information from these taxis, okay, the sensors of these taxis, we're taking the information from it, and we are providing it to our traffic management department, where the traffic management department then is taking this information and putting it into our smart drive app, which is the navigation app that we have with live information about the traffic status. So this is today available, it's there. The other thing with regards to sensors, many of you have seen the metro, many of you have seen our buses, many of you have also came to know or have used the tram as well. All the different modes of transportations that we are providing consist of so many sensors. If today you go to the metro or you go to use the tram, okay, the screen doors that opens and close in the same time that the doors of the tram and the metro that opens. These are all based sensors. There are all these sensors, and we're collecting data from these sensors. Just to give you a hint of how it works. Today, the buses are counting the number of people in the buses. So we have sensors that counts how many people are in the bus at a certain time, so that we can get the information out and know if we need more buses to go on this route at this time. Today we have successfully implemented the pilot of sensors alongside the Sheikh Zayed Road from the H Hotel for people who are living in Dubai, from H Hotel to Shangri-La Hotel. And we have sensors that were deployed into the parking spaces, about 360 parking spaces, that we have our parking app, so you can know which parking and where it's empty if you're planning to go to that side of Sheikh Zayed Road. And we have now plans to expand that every year to other areas of Dubai. We have also included some external parties like Dubai Mall. Today, Dubai Mall, we have information through our parking app. You will know if you're planning to go to Dubai Mall, which many of you would like to go to, okay, and they normally go to. You can plan your journey and you can say, through the parking app, you know which parking building in Dubai Mall has more spaces and is less crowded, so you can directly go to that parking building rather than going into a parking building and not knowing which one is it. So we are collaborating with various different parties. So there are a lot of sensors. Today we have deployed sensors on the traffic lights, and we're controlling all the traffic lights in Dubai through sensors that is providing information back to us. So all these are samples of real life projects that have been delivered today and are running and using IoT-based sensing to get this information and to provide a better service to our customers.
As we look for questions from the audience, the type of platform needed, because as we're deploying more and more sensors across the city, and then we're starting to manage those devices and then starting to aggregate a lot of data. Can you tell us a little bit about the plans to build the smart city platform just in general and be able to aggregate this data and share this data from a Smart Dubai point of view?
Of course, this is a project that the Dubai Smart City Executive Committee is in charge of, and we are working very closely with, we've identified partners, and we're working very closely to create this platform. The platform to use IoT and to expand the IoT. Today, Dubai requires more sensors. If we want to turn Dubai into a city that senses itself, knows about itself, informs you about its status, then definitely we need a platform for that. And the Smart City Committee, Executive Committee, is currently working on putting that and leveraging the current sensors plus the additional sensing required to achieve that ultimate goal.
Okay, thank you, Bali. Just one final question before we wrap up, and there are many vendors in the audience, and I know this is obviously the IoTX event, and many people are contributing, and lots of vendors. As your experience now with sensing and platforms and so on within the RTA and in Smart Dubai, what would you look for in a partner that would be bringing in these kinds of capabilities into the RTA specifically and overall Dubai? What are the characteristics, if you want, that you would like a partner to have or a platform provider to have?
First of all, innovative. They have to bring innovation. They have to bring new ideas that we can leverage. Today, and the second thing, it should be cost effective. So it should be a solution or that they are providing. First, it has to have the innovative aspect of it, then it has to be cost effective. So we need to also look into that, because if you're looking at sensing, there is, for example, we are not anymore interested in a sensor for a single thing. We are interested in a sensor that can be used for multiple things. So one sensor can give me different data or different readings and can handle different things. So this is the innovation we want. And how to deploy these sensors or these IoT devices across in a very cost-effective way, and in a way that we can leverage without going into a lot of hassle of civil work and maybe a huge bandwidth or require a huge bandwidth that is very costly to manage. So these are two major things. And of course, and the third most important thing is this vendor has to be a true partner, has to work hand in hand with us to achieve these goals. It should not be based purely on financial and on making money, but it's something to be for the good of the city, for the good of the people.
I know firsthand that the government is open to ideas. You mentioned this, and it's a very important and interesting view that it's not, the vendor community shouldn't be waiting for requirements to come out from the government to propose against, but what you're saying is the vendor community can come up with ideas, innovative ideas, and present those to the government so that then the need is justified and then the process kicks in. So not just wait for the government to say, this is what we need, but come in and say, these are some of the ideas, some of the innovation we think are interesting for you to look at, and some of the business models related to those ideas, right?
Yes, this is the year of innovation. Innovation in the city. The president did not put innovation as a goal for 2015, just on the government. Innovation is for everyone. So people have to come up, whether they are private sectors, companies, service providers, or universities, educational sector, or individuals even, who can have great ideas to solve or to provide new services in the city. They are all welcomed to come and talk to the Dubai Smart City Executive Committee, talk to the different Dubai government entities about these new solutions that they are coming. So we need, again, the word again is be proactive, okay? Don't just wait for a request for proposal to come to you. Maybe you have an idea that can solve a lot of or address so many issues. Why don't you bring it forward? Why don't you start discussing it? Why you try, come and see us about it? So I encourage that. Again, this is the year of innovation. Innovation is not just building rockets or building something that goes to the moon, okay? Innovation is about everything. It's about innovative services, innovative ideas, innovative processes. So it could be so many things. So the area is open, and the country and the city and the Emirate of Dubai, through His Highness's President of the UAE and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed, the Prime Minister of Dubai, of UAE, and the ruler of Dubai, they have all insisted that they need contribution. And if you look at the Dubai Strategy 2021, okay, it's asking for innovative people. It wants to turn Dubai into a hub where innovators will come in and work from Dubai. Okay, so that innovators, not just individuals, but also organizations in terms of private sector and educational sector and.
So not just open data, but an open government and an open city is what you're
exactly.
saying. Thank you very much, Abdulla.